One. Hello and welcome to the MegaMonsterCast, where today we are talking about episode 7 of Godzilla Singular Point. I am Nick.
Finally, our first good episode.
Yeah, I am Nick. With me is Josh.
Hello.
This time I did the opening the correct way. I'm keeping that in the last episode, though.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. So this episode is out of the two that we're recording this day. This is the episode I actually kind of liked. Like, I thought there was more good than bad. There's still bad in this episode, but it kept my attention a lot more, and it felt like there were more stakes in this one than we had seen in previous episodes.
yes. Like, there's a lot of deposition still in this episode, but they're doing things now where it's kind of interesting when they're doing it.
Yeah, yeah, like all the stuff with very brief stuff with getting Godzilla like in the city is interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff they do with Salunga, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool too. Like, there's cool shit that happens in this episode. I didn't really think there was much cool that happened in episode 6. There's cool shit that happens here. Again, we like still not a great Godzilla design for Godzilla, but as far as a generic kaiju design, this is still a dope ass design.
Yeah. This. So, this came out right after Singular Point,
Mhm.
or not Singular Point,
Shin.
Shin Gods, and right after um McCrae's for the legendary Godzilla.
Hmm.
They're about to make the thickest Godzilla you've ever seen here in a few episodes.
I did spoil it for myself and look at what this design was because you've been talking about how thick it is. It is a very chunky boy.
And I hate this fucking design so much.
Yeah, it's fair.
That face is so stupid.
That's fair. Um, Again though, I will say this design works as a kaiju, not as Godzilla, but as a kaiju. Like, it going through the city is genuinely like the first time I felt like there was something frightening.
Yeah, because it comes in the bay, bloodies the water, throws Manda on land, eats it, bites it, splues blood everywhere, all over people, crushing buildings.
Yep,
And we get a glimpse of his face, and then boom, it's done.
yep. And again, if this wasn't Godzilla, this would be a really, really cool. It's still a cool moment, but it would have been really fucking cool if this wasn't Godzilla. Like, if they had gone with like this as a design for a different kaiju, I would have eaten this shit up because this is like the most intimidating scene we've seen so far. Although we get again a couple of really cool scenes, like again, spoiler for later in the episode, the Salunga scene, the one like
Oh, good.
skewery scene.
Yeah, just keep
Oh,
doing this. Just keep
dude.
doing that.
Yep, getting the Trump dance in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a fucking dope scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we get some again, you get a cool scene and then you get like some less cool stuff where we get like the Jet Jaguar team talking.
Yeah.
And
We went from really cool to a very slow portion of them just walking up the highway at night.
mhm. And again, my biggest problem with this is like it would have been more interesting if we had a smaller cast and if it was like again the scientist girl and the white-haired dude as like the core two and they were interacting with each other more because then we could have like taken these two conversations that they're both having with other people and just folded them into them having those conversations together on the walk.
Mm-hmm.
and it would have worked better and it would have been more concise so we had more time for other things. And it would have built up more with their characters instead of having them spend their time with other like at this point the cast is just too big and we can't give the characters enough time any given one of them.
Yeah, I mean, and plus they keep adding new characters every fucking episode.
Yeah, characters that are like not particularly interesting and I feel like we keep getting we keep getting like all these metaphors for like different dimensions touching each other because we get
Yes.
like the jelly one this episode, we got the folded paper last episode, and the music stuff, and like there's like it also just feels like there's not a lot of faith in the audience that they have to keep trying to like use all these various metaphors to try to get the idea across, you know?
Yeah, it really feels like the Netflix just gave them like, hey, we want this many episodes and we want this kind of a runtime, and they just had to pad it.
Oh, 100%. This screams we have to fill 13 episodes. Like if you like as I'm watching the show, like again, everything I'm saying is a way to consult like take the story, simplify a lot of the working parts of it, but also would mean that they would have to find other things to fill that time. And I'm willing to bet that's why it's working the way it is. That way, oh, well, if I have these two talking to each other, it takes this much time. But if I take these two important characters, split them up, then have this one talk to this character and this one talk to this character, then I have those conversations happening away from each other and we can start stretching things.
Yeah, and then we'll have them repeat the same conversations
Mhm.
every episode or two.
Yeah, like, oh, she had this conversation last episode and she's having it again this episode, but using something else to describe it to the same person that she showed the folded paper thing to at the end of last episode. Well, at the end of her part last episode.
Yeah, but she couldn't understand paper, so she could definitely understand Jello
Hmm.
being, rotating in four dimensions, but it's in a 3D world or some weird shit she said.
Yeah. I mean, again, I get it. They're trying to they're trying to go with something. They're trying to do like a very sci-fi story with these kaiju, which hey, not a bad thing to do. Like kaiju and sci-fi go together like just I mean they're built for that.
Yeah, like chicken and jelly.
Sure, why not? Uh Also side note, Josh, I had the peanut butter jalapeno burger again today.
You son of a bitch.
It's so good, dude. It's so good. Anyway, um listeners out there, put peanut butter and jalapenos on your burgers, like a little bacon too.
No,
So good.
no, no, no. Do it with peanut butter and bacon, but add an egg and then some jalapenos.
I could see that being really good too. I feel like an egg on a burger is just like a safe choice. Like I feel
Yes,
like when I first heard about it, I thought it was kind of weird, but like that was like over a decade ago. I've since realized that it's like one of the peak types of burger.
it is.
Like a breakfast burger with like another great one. We're getting super off track, but another great one burger, hash browns,
I was
bacon,
about to bring it up.
and egg on top.
Yep.
Yep. Solid breakfast burger.
But you do the egg with a little chili crisp.
I could see that. Anyway, so yeah, now they're introducing the fact that this fucking red mist is just about every fucking where. And this is the precursor to a horrifying monstrosity of Godzilla.
It's fucking horrifying.
Yep. And then we get the Jet Jaguar team, and they've taken Anguirus's horn.
Yeah, that they stole from the government.
Which I mean, hey, like if you can get a hold of a fucking kaiju's horn, you might as well get a hold of that kaiju's horn.
Yeah, and what else better to do with it than make a bow and arrow out of it? That you can
Yeah,
only have one shot, one
yeah.
opportunity.
I mean, to be fair, we have literally watched a show with a similar premise to an episode. That fucking episode of Blazar, they literally did that with the Blazar episode.
Yeah, but Blazar did it better.
It did. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying, like, the
Uh,
idea itself is okay. It's the execution that's lacking in this episode.
well, I mean, at least they had one character in this one that made some sense, and they're like, no, don't make a bow and arrow, you idiots. What happens if you miss?
Hmm.
Make a pointy stick out of it.
Yeah.
Poke them.
Yeah, stab, stab.
Stabby stab.
But yeah. So we get some more horrifying everywhere red fucking mist. We get talk about jellyfish because that's what this is about, I guess. It's about jellyfish. Then we get the other cool.
Yeah.
Then we get the
Because,
other cool scene.
of the basement,
Yes.
yeah, where now there's just mist pouring out of Godzilla's dead skeleton,
Yes.
even though Godzilla is alive.
Again,
It's
my
like some
assumption.
kind of weird time travel-y
Yeah.
science onesie bullshit.
Yeah. Again, my assumption was this is just like one big time loop thing
Yeah.
with the whole loop thing that they keep setting up. Like, okay, this is gonna end with Godzilla dying and getting sent back in time to set up the start of the show.
Yep. Basically.
Yeah.
And then we get some weird ass technology that can make you completely invisible here.
We also get
As
go for it.
I was gonna say, as our cool blonde, half shaved, half long hair guy, who we can't remember his name, just tasers a guy through a suit
Yeah.
to do what? No one knows because they just make him look at the skeleton
Yeah.
and cut away.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of like missed, literally missed, but missed opportunities with this. Like, I don't
God
know
damn
what
it.
they're trying to do with some of these characters' storylines. I'm sure eventually they'll do something cool with some of them at least, but we get some more science techno babble, and again, jellyfish, and then we get a quasi-military team preparing to deal with Salunga.
Wait a second. I'm keep going.
I
I figure something out,
All right, go for it.
and
I'm also gonna say I straight up skipped over a large chunk of the scientist sub like plot, but like it's the worst part of the story now, and she feels so separated from everything else. It doesn't matter. Instead, we get some cool characters with character design showing up with sniper rifles as they are suspended over a pit, aiming down to shoot the shit out of Salunga.
yeah, bullets have not affected anything so far. So let's use more bullets instead of just
Oh yeah.
explosives.
I will say though, I fucking love this scene. Like the scene is
The scene's
so good.
cool.
It's so good. It's dumb as fuck, but it's so good. As Salonga like scales up uh the equipment so it can like try to get out. They blow parts of it up to try to keep it down. They're shooting down at it as they're suspended by wires. It's jumping from like beam to beam, trying to like climb its way up as they are blasting through them. And then they drop this device into the red mist, which
The
turn,
oxygen destroyer, by the
yep,
way, is what they drop.
yep. And then it
It
turns,
is. Oh,
oh, dude, it's so good. It turns into these like crystalline spears almost as they just shoot their way up, stabbing the shit out of Salunga and everything else.
including slicing our guy's face up.
Yep.
But I was trying to remember the name of the ship. I just it just dawned on me the little AI that she has following her
Mm-hmm.
around with her. The top of its like build is Gotango,
Uh,
and I
okay.
just now realized it.
I mean,
I've noticed everything but that.
they throw a lot of stuff at you. You're bound to miss something.
Yeah, still that was so simple.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, and Salunga just kind of twitches a little bit as it dies, and they seal it back up.
Yeah, it's a little lip twitch.
Yep. And we get the ministry woman with the one bowl cut dude. I kind of remember that he's important, but I don't remember what
Well,
he
he was
does
the one that
anymore.
got he's the one that got tased
Yeah,
in the pit.
yeah, but like I know there's something else he was doing earlier, but I just don't remember it anymore.
He
Like that's
was with the fat guy with
yeah,
the weird mustache who
yeah,
was knew about the pit.
yeah. He was the rich dude, right? I think he was rich,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Then they fix up Jet Jaguar.
Yeah. And they eat. And then he's talking to our scientist lady again, who, by the way, every scene she's in this episode is either in a plane or a car.
Yes, accurate. At one point, I thought she was in a train, but you're right. It is plane or car, so they can make sure her scenes feel like they're still moving.
True.
Yeah. That's the end of this episode. I got a
Yeah.
lot of
We get Jet Jaguar doing the stupidest possible pose.
yeah dancing with the spear
And then
again.
we get the best part of every episode, the end credit scene.
Hmm. Again, I'll say this: like, I like this episode a lot more than I liked the last several. Again, it's not like there's a whole lot of plot happening that's interesting, but there's cool scenes in it now.
Yeah, they actually did some things that fucking my 3 minute attention span actually was able to keep up with.
Yep. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this one before we cut it?
Uh no, God no.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, tune in next time, or we'll talk about episode 8. Bye bye.
I know.